Hey, what's up? It's Tati, and I'm back with another video. Look, last night I did the ROH review, and I was annoyed. If some of you guys saw it, maybe you can tell that I was annoyed. Really, I did state in the beginning of the video that I was frustrated with yesterday's episode, but I didn't go into details as to why I was frustrated. So, since I didn't really like the video I did yesterday, I'm just gonna elaborate on the issues that is going on with ROH. So I'm going to state my reasons here, but I'm not going into any particular order. It's just based off what I could think of at the moment. So one of the biggest problems here is you can't tell who is part of ROH and who is just AEW. ROH is a promotion, not a fucking brand. So it's not like Raw and SmackDown under WWE. It's literally AEW here and ROH there, two different things. Now, at first, I didn't really mind that we saw a lot of AEW influence, especially since they're just starting out, they're going to need help, and they haven't recruited a lot of the people who were in ROH when ROH went down. So I was okay with that. I thought that as time go by, we'll see more people who were originally with ROH come back to the company, maybe if they want. But I thought that's what was going to end up happening. And in the meantime, we'll have AEW stars working with people who's ROH. However, you really can't tell who is, ROH. So the ones that are holding the gold, yes, you can obviously tell because they're holding gold for ROH. But then other than that, you really can't tell. So the issue with that is everyone who seems to really be more successful in AEW are wrestling on ROH, and they're taking all the W's. Like, what the hell is that? Like, how can people be successful in ROH when you're bringing people who are successful in AEW to take all the wins over here? Like, yesterday I was so upset because that match with the best friends, it's like, okay, they've been doing fine on AEW. Why do they need to come over here and take a win? I just didn't like that. Now, Dark Order is another one too. Dark Order, I don't mind them winning. We had a really great match. Dark Order versus Jeeves K and Sonny Kiss. Now, we don't see a lot of Sonny. We don't see a lot of Jeeves, but it was a really great match, and it was just went by so quick, and Dark Order end up taking the win. And these guys were doing well on AEW. Matter of fact, they were on Dynamite for several weeks working with BCC. The Elite comes into that storyline and washed them the fuck out. And now they're in ROH. And it's like, whoa, what is going on? Like, it's so much inconsistencies that makes it, difficult to stand behind the booking. Now, another issue here, like I kept saying yesterday, was that a lot of these matches fell short. The first episode of ROH was slightly over 2 hours. And then from there, it was consistently around almost a 2 hour mark. The moment they stopped taping at Universal and started taping before Dynamite is when we noticed the episodes are getting shorter. And why are they getting shorter? Because of time. You're filming something before your biggest show of the week, which is Dynamite. You need to make sure that whatever you're filming is going to be done before you go live for Dynamite. So now that takes away from ROH. I'd rather than go right back to Universal Studios and actually give us a proper 2 hour show that's not rushed. We had so many great matches last night that just seems like get in and get out type of situation. And it's like, whoa, that is insane. Absolutely insane. And it made it really difficult to enjoy. And it was literally 8:05 when the show was over. And they try to make it up by saying, hey, right after the broadcast, we're going to air one of Samoa Joe old matches or whatever like that. And I'm like, oh, is that supposed to make up for a whole fucking hour that we're not gonna get? I thought that was absolutely insane. And it was so frustrating because I'm like, a lot of people are watching and probably don't pay to watch ROH. And that's okay. However you watch it is cool. But I pay, and I was okay with it because consistently we get really great matches with ROH. Matter of fact, Some of my favorite matches so far this year has been on ROH TV. And now we're at the point where it's like, should I even pay for this? For what, an hour show a week? It doesn't really make sense how they're moving along with this. I really think that they're going off on the wrong path, and it's not too late to fix it because they're only 2 months in. But the way it's looking right now, it's not so great. Another big issue is the lack of storylines. The only thing I feel like they have down pat is with Athena. Now, she doesn't have a specific storyline, but they're going based off of her character, and she's a heel champion who is getting under the skin of all the girls in ROH. And I'm telling you guys, if you haven't been watching Athena in ROH, it's a huge difference compared to what's going on with the AEW women's title and the TBS title. If she would have gone over there, she would literally wipe away Jamie Hayter and Jade Cargill. She's doing so great. There is no way we're going to see Athena on AEW TV anytime soon because of this, because she is like knocking it out of the park in ROH. Now, while we got that going on, that I think that's their best thing, they had the storyline with Claudio and Eddie Kingston. They had a short feud. Now, let me not say short feud because they've been feuding for like ever, but a short on-camera feud. And their promo right before the pay-per-view was A++. Then, unfortunately, after that pay-per-view, Eddie got injured. Now, Eddie didn't know the severity of his injury until after the pay-per-view, where he, did some tests and he realized how severe it was. So now he's out. That was the best storyline that they had going. And then they had Mark Briscoe and Samoa Joe. That storyline was okay. And everybody was really looking for a feel-good story of Mark Briscoe winning the TV title from Samoa Joe. I honestly didn't think it was his time. And I think when it came to that, they made the right choice with having Mark losing. However, since Mark has lost that title, they're playing around with him on AEW TV, doing something with Jay Lethal and then FTR and everything, where it's like you're wasting this guy's singles run. Unless he's injured and can't wrestle right now, there's no reason why he should not be on ROH TV. He did say that he was still going to, look for his singles gold or whatever in the future. Why isn't he still not being around on ROH TV? It's not consistent. So now, here's another big issue that's been going on for a little bit, was the 6-man tag. Take it off the current 6-man tag champions. Why? Because every week it's only Brian Cage coming out having singles matches. How is he holding 6-man tag gold and his other partners are nowhere to be seen? Now, yes, his partners do work on the indie scene, but that is not a reason why. One thing that I thought was, his contract was about to be up right around the time of the Supercard of Honor pay-per-view. And I'm guessing that one of the things that made him stay was that they were putting in his deal that he'll get a lot more time as a singles competitor. I don't mind that, but if you're holding gold where you're supposed to be champion with other people, I shouldn't only be seeing you. We've only seen them compete twice on ROH TV and one time at the Supercard of Honor pay-per-view, only because they had to defend it. And for whatever freaking reason, they kept the titles on them when they weren't going to use them as a trio. What sense does that make? I feel like that's a huge mistake. Take that title off of these guys if you're not going to use them as a trio. And then on top of that, they announced how the Embassy, which is the group that Brian is in, how they've merged with the Mogul affiliates. What you mean to say is that Brian Cage is part of the Mogul affiliates, not the Embassy, because the rest of the group is not there. So now that doesn't even make sense. It's like you're not even focusing on these guys as a trios, but you want to already throw Brian into another faction. That doesn't make any sense at all, and it really takes away from the prestige of the 6-man tag champions, and I wish that they would just either give it back to Dalton Castle and the boys, because at least they're interesting, or, you know, just somebody else. Right now, I just feel like they're just doing nothing with it at all. And for you to have champions and not have these champions out there defending their gold, it just doesn't make sense at all. So moving forward, I do think what they need to do, number one, is, even though I like them using an arena for ROH, if they cannot utilize their time and not rush the shows, then that would be great. However, since that's the path that they're on, they might as well take it right back to Universal Studios and tape their shows there, because it's taking away the quality of the show. And I really think that's really noticeable these past few weeks since they have started filming at the arenas. Now, another thing that they need to do is have a ROH roster, people specifically for ROH and nothing else. They can bring AEW guys. When I say they can bring some, I mean like a sprinkle of the roster, the ones who are not being used in big storylines or whatnot, and bring them over there and have them have, you know, some feuds with these guys to help bring up ROH, and not coming over there and just getting the wins and wins and wins while the other guys are just always losing. I think that's okay. Now, I heard a couple of days ago that AEW is no longer doing Dark Elevation. They have not confirmed this, but Fight TV did kind of confirm this, because they aired Dark Elevation, but they also said, along with that last episode, which is just a best of Dark Elevation, where they just compiled some of their best matches that they've had on the show, they stated that this was the final episode of Dark Elevation. Like I said, no one in AEW has actually come out and said that that was true. If that's the case, it's definitely because they need time to film for ROH. And you know what? I am okay with that. You know, the less shows you got going on, the more of the bigger things you can focus on. So that's fine. But if you're doing it just so that you can have the space in this arena, but rushing these shows, forget it. You might as well keep Dark Elevation. Now, for me, if you ask me if paying $10 for a membership for the Honor Club is worth it, I kept saying yes. At this point, I'm going to say no. Simply because I feel like there's been a drastic change in these past few weeks. If you're looking for really great matches, consistently, they've been doing that. They've been having really great matches over on ROH. However, that is not enough to pay a membership for. They need to be doing more on the Honor Club for people to want to purchase. And if they're not doing that, then people are not going to want to buy. And I don't know if they can honestly do enough for more people to want to buy. Having really great matches is just not enough. They don't have any storylines going on. They are trying to start something with the Righteous. They're trying to do something with the Kingdom, but 2 months in, something should have been happening already, and unfortunately that's not the case. Now I'm going to keep watching and see how it goes. I'm going to give it another month to see if anything's going to change, but honestly, I just feel like right now they are making some really big mistakes that is going to make the purchase of ROH seem like a waste of fucking money. They have to do this right in order for it to be successful. And so far, I feel like they have some potential, but at this moment, I feel like so much more needs to be done. They're not going the right way. They have some time to probably change things up and go right back on the right path. Number one, Tony Khan, if you have anything to do with the booking, you could just stay over there on AEW, because this is just not working out. Some of these decisions are really, really going to hurt ROH, and it would be really sad if in the near future ROH is no longer, and I would hate for that to happen. That would really, really suck. Guys, thanks so much for watching my rant. If I didn't have this YouTube video, I'll just be sitting in my room just venting out to myself about this stuff. I love pro wrestling and I want it to be successful. And right now, Tony Khan is making like really crazy amateur decisions that I don't think that he realized he's doing. And honestly, with the ROH thing, I'm starting to just get over it at this point. Thanks for watching.